Okay, so we have a tricky problem this morning. We have a new word. Jacob came and asked me what are cubic inches, so I at least knew that he looked at the problem and he wasn't just taking guesses at it. He was trying to figure out what he was supposed to do. A box of chocolates was 12 inches long, 6 inches wide, and 1 inch deep. If the chocolate measures 2 cubic inches each, how many chocolates should I expect to get in 5 full boxes? Okay, so we just kind of need to visualize. You guys have all seen a box of chocolates, okay? In fact, I could take a small box, like a box of fruit snacks. I'm going to zoom out. And before we talked about the area, we've talked about the area multiple times, and we measure the length times the width, and that tells us, everyone should be looking, this is something new. The length times the width tells us how much area there is just on the surface of this box. Okay, so if I wanted to paint this box or put glitter on this box, then I need to know the area that I'm going to cover, and that's really just the top. But today we're talking about volume. So now we have the length times the width times the height. Okay? So that is going to tell us how much area is inside the box. Or what can fit inside the box. It's not area, but what the box can hold. Okay, that's volume. Another word for volume is capacity. Well, when you're talking about a cube or a rectangular solid, we're talking about volume, and the formula is length times width times height. Okay, so everyone should at least write that formula down. Remember, we don't really need to use the x for times. The volume is the length times the width times the height. So for the box of chocolates, the volume is 12 times 6 times 1. Now, you have all seen a box of chocolates, right? And you know, you can visualize in your head what that looks like. And then each piece of candy that comes in it usually comes in a little wrapper, okay? And they're saying that each one of those little sections is 2 cubic inches. So they're this high and this wide, okay? About like this, okay? So you need to figure out how many of those cubic inches can fit in that box. So what is the volume of the box? That's the first thing you need to know. What is the volume of the box? Liam?
72.
72. Please put your mask on. And we say cubic inches, which we write this way. Because now instead of doing inches times inches, we're doing inches times inches times inches. We are adding a dimension. We have been talking about the dimension being length and width. Now we're adding a dimension, and that's height. So our unit is cubed, okay? Now, if there's 72 cubic inches, and each piece of candy takes up 2 cubic inches, how many pieces of candy can fit in that box? What do I need to do? If there were, let's say there were 6 cubic inches. Let's say that it was 6 cubic inches, and each piece of candy takes up 2 cubic inches. How many candies can fit in that box? If it were 6 cubic inches, and each piece of candy takes up 2 cubic inches. Quentin? 3. You divided. There's 72 cubic inches, and each piece of candy takes up 2 cubic inches. How many pieces can fit in that box? What do you need to do? Alice?
Divide 2.
Divide what? 72 divided by 2. Okay? 2 can go into 7 3 times, so 2 can go into 70 30 times. Subtract out 60, you're left with 12. 2 can go into 12 6 times. Now we're subtracting 12 and we're left with nothing. So 36 pieces of candy can fit in one box. How many pieces of candy can fit in 5 boxes? Now what do I need to do? How many pieces of candy can fit in 5 boxes? Ada? 36 times 5. You can solve 36 times 5 any way you want. Most of you are using this. 5 times 3 is 15. Add a 0. 5 times 6 is 30 for 180 pieces of candy. Okay, I should expect 180 pieces of candy. And really that shouldn't say I should, it should say you should. You should expect 180 pieces of candy. So what I liked is I walked around and a lot of you were finding the volume, you were multiplying by 5, okay, you were trying the things that you knew. Okay, I like that.